Bridget and welcome to my channel. For today's video, it's going to be a little bit weird because I have done a collaboration with someone here on YouTube. This just happened this week and I'm super duper excited. So if you watch a whole lot of people within the pet community, you may have heard of Dusty Hartl. If you haven't, you should definitely go check him out. I'll have everything linked below for him. And he's decided to do this really cool thing that he's calling the Creator Showcase, where he's kind of asking a lot of other creators to create content for his channel. But since I created the video that is both relevant to his channel as well as my channel, I thought that I would just go ahead and share it here as well. So I know it's repetitive because if you did see it on his channel, you're going to be seeing it again on mine if you choose to watch it, but I think it's a really great video. I planned to make it on my channel anyways, so it just kind of fits. I think you guys should really check out Dusty. He has small animal and aquatic style videos. He's just a really cool guy, so definitely go check him out. Again, I'll have everything linked below. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into this collab video. Enjoy! Hey everyone, my name is Bridget and welcome to Dusty's channel. Now you guys already know who Dusty is, but you may not know who I am. Recently in his life, he has gotten a lot of wonderful new things happening for him that's kind of taking up a little bit more of his time. So he's done this really awesome thing now where he has reached out to a lot of us other creators to see if we are interested in creating content for his channel. So now let me introduce myself. As I said, my name is Bridget. I have a channel here on YouTube called BB's Beasties. I have a wide range of animals that I care for, and I do entertainment style videos, but I also do educational style videos. So in today's video, to be relevant to both my channel and Dusty's channel, I'm going to be talking about an aquatic type of animal. But if you're also interested in other types of animals like lizards, snakes, I have a frog, aquatics, cats, and I also have a parrot. Like I said, it's pretty diverse. So if you're interested in any of those types of animals and you want to come check out my channel and see what we do over there, then I would love to have you. Now that I've rambled on a little bit, you get the idea of why I'm doing this video. I'm going to go ahead and get started. The video that I've chosen to make today is a mystery snail care guide. Now, mystery snails are a freshwater snail. A lot of people use them in their tanks as tank mates for fish, but also they like to use them as a cleanup crew. Now, my personal experience with mystery snails, they suck at cleaning algae. They are not an algae eater. So if you're getting mystery snails to control any kind of algae problem in your aquarium, you picked the wrong snail, to be honest. They just like to be in their aquarium and they like to eat food, but not algae. You have to feed them separately. A lot of people do keep them with their betta fish, but I've noticed that my betta is especially aggressive towards other tank mates. I can't keep him with mystery snails in particular because of their big long antennas. He likes to eat them. That kind of started this whole mystery snail keeping for me. I've gone from one mystery snail in his very own aquarium to now 3, and I have a mystery snail dedicated tank that I absolutely love. So if you're interested in mystery snails and you'd like to know how I keep them and meet my mystery snails and also learn how you can care for your own, then definitely just keep watching and let's go look at the tank. Here is my mystery snail tank. I just have it sitting on top of this little nightstand kind of thing. I'm not really sure. I like it though because I've got storage on the bottom of it. But here's my tank. It is the Marineland 5-gallon portrait aquarium. I kind of bought this aquarium on a whim because of what happened to Blue. I decided to purchase this tank from Amazon. I think it was like $56, maybe $60. Not too bad. And I actually think it is probably a perfect tank because of how it's set up and the actual lid. This fully glass lid allows for the snails to not escape. That's one of the things that happens with mystery snails a lot, is that they'll actually escape their tanks, and this one prevents that entirely. The setup is actually pretty simple. I've just got some basic gravel, a piece of driftwood, and a couple of plants. I do have this little elephant back here that I liked so much. This did start in my betta aquarium, but I wanted to add a little extra touch to the snail aquarium, so I stole it from him and put it in here. The driftwood is just a random piece of driftwood that I found on Amazon. What are you guys doing back there? You being naughty? Probably. And I have also tied this El Nino fern to it. This plant that I have in the back is a standard Amazon sword, and it is thriving beautifully. As you can see, I've got a lot of really good new growth down there on the bottom. I'm pretty proud of that because I suck at keeping plants alive. The gravel that I have in here is a river type of gravel from Carib Sea. I think it's called Blue Ridge or Blue Stone Ridge or something like that. This dish I found on Amazon as well. It's in the shape of a leaf. Oh, hello. I think it's meant for like potpourri or something, but I use it to put their food on. These snails are super messy, and this gel food that I feed them gets all in the gravel and gets things disgusting. So I thought it was a good idea to get a little glass dish to put in the bottom here to drop the food onto so that they can eat it that way without making a huge mess in the tank. Trust me, they still make a huge mess in the tank, but at least this makes it a little bit easier. So this is my very first snail. This is Blue. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he was this size when I got him, and that was 7 months ago. So I would imagine he's at least 2 years old. On his shell, he does have quite a bit of algae on there, and that usually shows up later in age. I can't get it off. It doesn't seem to bother him. So yeah, here is my little Blue. I'll go ahead and throw in some clips of him in the aquarium as well, so you can see just how cool he is. This is my female blue mystery snail, and her name is Ink, and I've had her for about 6 months. When I did get her, she was about the size of a dime, and usually at that size they're only about maybe 2 months old. So I'm guessing she's about 8 months or so. She's not completely full grown yet. She'll grow a little bit bigger to be about Blue's size, but she's still, I mean, a pretty good size snail if I do say so myself. And then here is my third mystery snail. This is also a female. She's an ivory mystery snail, and her name is Quill. She is the same age as Ink, as far as I could tell. I did get them at the exact same time, and they were both the exact same size. So she's just a little bit smaller, which is okay. She's still really, really cool looking.
Alrighty, so now that you've seen my aquarium and met my snails, we're gonna go ahead and get started talking about mystery snails in general, go through their behavior a little bit, and how to care for them. They're really interesting. A lot of people think that they look super weird and alien-like, and I love that. I think their overall appearance is super cool. They also come in a lot of different colors. They're just a really cool addition to any freshwater aquarium. Now, when it comes to the behavior of mystery snails, they are super docile little creatures. They just slide around in the tank super peacefully, not bothering anybody. I mean, for the most part, there are a couple times where they'll like bump shells and stuff and like get irritated with one another, but it's really not that common. You'll see them rasp with their little mouth on the glass. You'll also frequently see them get to a top location of the tank and just kind of smooth sail through the aquarium. It's really entertaining. You may see some mating behavior going on, because I definitely have that in my aquarium. Blue, he's such a perv. He likes to just violate both of his tank mates over and over and over. And they do lay eggs. Now, these eggs are different than other freshwater snails that I have seen personally. Like, I have Nerite snails. Those eggs are all over the aquarium, all over the driftwood, every nook and cranny, and they're hard to scrape off. The thing about mystery snails is they leave a cluster of all of their eggs, and it's usually above the water level where you can easily just take it out. Another thing that you'll commonly see is they have this siphon or breathing tube that they'll stretch up to the surface of the water, and they'll get it right there at the edge of the water, and they'll pump their bodies in order to breathe the air, because they can breathe underwater, but they also breathe that nice fresh air. It can look a little alarming, like you think, what is my snail doing? He's hyperventilating, but no, he's just sucking in air. It does look a little bit frightening at first if you've never seen it, but it's common. All right, so now that we've gone through the behavior of a mystery snail and some of their characteristics, I'm gonna talk about how to care for them. Now, they're actually very similar to other freshwater creatures. It's pretty universal when it comes to how the tank should be, the water quality, the maintenance, all that kind of stuff. So if you already have an aquarium, you probably already know this type of information, but if you don't have an aquarium, definitely research a lot of different ways to set up freshwater aquariums and how to do that and how to maintain that.
that, but I'm gonna go ahead and share how I care for mine. So when it comes to the tank, obviously you can put a mystery snail in whatever tank you want. It doesn't matter if it's 3 gallons or if it's 150 gallons. You don't have to do it my way where you have a mystery snail dedicated tank. That's just what I like to do. But when it does come to them just being in their own tank or even in a small aquarium, I recommend that you allow for 1 to 2 gallons per snail. That is because these creatures are filthy. Their bio load is massive. I have a 5 gallon for my snails and I have 3 of them, and that is kind of pushing it, I'm not gonna lie. My upkeep on this tank is really frequent and I don't mind doing it that way. I've also customized the filter where I added a little bit more biomedia because there's a lot of waste. So that's something to remember with these snails. If you're gonna put them in something small, just make sure you've got enough space in the tank, water volume, and really good filtration. Another thing with these snails is that their foot is very sensitive, so if you're gonna have decorations in the tank, you wanna make sure that they are soft. I don't recommend having those really hard plastic plants. I don't like those anyways. I don't use them for any of my animals. So if you're gonna use things like driftwood, you wanna make sure that any of these little sticks or points that could be pointing off of it are filed down. And if you're gonna use plants, whether live or fake, make sure that they're soft. So for fake plants, silk plants are wonderful. And then for live plants, I mean, live plants are all soft basically, but I like to use things with big leaves as well. So that gives them a little bit of a surfboard, if you will, because they do like to get on the plants, weigh them down, and then just kind of like scoot along on them. I don't know. I think it's entertaining, so I give them big leaves. And as far as the substrate goes, you can use a lot. You can use sand, you can use gravel, stones, as long as it's not sharp gravel. I did have a fine sand in here. I didn't like it as much with the snails, and that's just because they're so slimy, and I would find globs of sand-filled slime all over the glass. So I removed the sand and I went with a softer gravel. Now when it comes to the water quality of your aquarium with these snails, as I said, they have a very high bio load. So it's really important that you're using a water testing kit. There are tons of different kits on the market. I use the API testing kit, and I recommend testing the day before a water change and testing a day after the water change, just to make sure that your levels are correct. I'm not gonna get into the whole nitrogen cycle. There are tons of videos on that and tons of information on that, but it is important that your ammonia remains 0, your nitrites remain 0, and your nitrates stay anywhere from, I'd say, 5 to 40 parts per million. Now, one thing that makes these snails a little bit different than a lot of other freshwater fish is that they actually like a higher pH of water. Most fish, especially tropical that you'll see, they like to keep it a little bit more neutral, if not slightly acidic. My pH in my tap water is naturally higher. It's never below 8.0. I typically see 8.2 to 8.3, and these snails really like it to be anywhere between 7.5 to 8.5. 8 is a really, really good number for them. Now, when it comes to the temperature of the snails, there's a wide range that they can handle. And if you noticed, I don't have a heater in my aquarium. I personally don't find it necessary because the room that I keep them in is my animal room, and it stays around 76 to 80 degrees all the time. Now that's warm for mystery snails, I will say that, but my tank always sits between 75 and 77 degrees no matter what. And that is actually really nice for them. But these snails can actually handle a very wide range of temperatures. It's really varied, and you can have a heater or you don't have to have a heater if your house stays around room temperature. I find that room temperature is best for these snails though. Alright, so now we'll talk about food and supplements for your mystery snails. Now, you may have noticed in my tank that I have a piece of cuttlebone floating around. Cuttlebone is an excellent calcium source for them, and it's really important for the health of your snails, especially their shell, to have a bit of calcium in their diet as well as in the water. It floats for about, I would say, 3 to 5 days. Then it'll sink down and it'll go to the bottom, and they can chew on it or whatever else, and it also dissolves into the water. The way that I add calcium into their diet is I feed them a gel food that I like to call snail jello. There are tons of different recipes online and videos of people making snail jello. It's really customizable, but the way that I do it is I use Repashy Soilent Green and plain calcium carbonate with no D3. And it's really simple. I just do 2 parts of the Soilent Green, 1 part of the calcium, and then about 2 to 3 parts boiling water. You have to make sure that water is boiling. And you mix that all together and you let it harden on the counter or whatever, and it just turns into this jelly-like substance. I cut it up into individual portions and then I put 2 in their tank every other day. They can eat a variety of bottom feeder type style food as well. Algae wafers are a pretty good one. I don't feed mine algae wafers because they won't touch them. I don't know why, but they do not like algae wafers. They do, however, like the sinking pellets that I get from Hikari. Those pellets have vegetation in them, which is the same as an algae wafer, but it also has a little bit of protein in there too, which protein is pretty good for them. So I typically only feed my snails gel food, and I'll feed them Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then on Saturdays, I actually give them zucchini or cucumber. So I'll just take my little veggie clip and I will blanch a slice of cucumber or zucchini, stick it on there, and leave it in there for about 12 hours. And they'll go on there and munch on it, and if they don't, they don't. It's fine. They love their gel food best, but I do think it's important to give them something fresh every now and then. There are several different things that you can feed them. You can feed them apple, peas, green beans. So it's pretty simple to care for these guys. You just have to make sure that you're feeding them regularly, really good food for them. Make sure that their water quality is nice and that you give them really fun things to do in their aquarium as well. Give them some enrichment. These are super fun, unique creatures that I literally could stare at all day long. I love them so much. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this mystery snail care guide video. I wanna thank Dusty so much for giving me this opportunity to share this video with you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Again, if you wanna stop by my channel and subscribe to me and watch all of my unique babies, I would love to have you. Also, make sure you subscribe to Dusty if you haven't. He's a super cool guy, so make sure you show him some love. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and come check out my channel if you'd like to. And I will see you guys later. Bye!